Alan, Alan or Dr. Digipole, did you want to weigh in on this?
I guess a couple things, as while it's no longer a predominantly white nation, there are elements of the white American communities that are digging their heels in, and so whether or not
this is their last stand. This is Custer's last stand.
Yeah, but how long it'll last and to what extent it'll be bad or good is up in the air. But that said, I think one of the big things here is one of the underlying themes of the Zimmerman Trayvon case is the over-reliance on stereotypes, racial stereotypes, fashion stereotypes. There are a lot of things going on here, and I think as part of the response to it, one of the underlying important things to do is to make sure that whatever efforts are out there to kind of progress evolve society beyond the conflict that occurred here and the problems that occurred here is to do it in ways that defy stereotype.
True. I agree.
All right. Well, looks like that we're going to have to wrap it up with that. Howard Conde, thanks so much for joining us, of course, here on Take Action News, and congratulations, you're Activist of the Week.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
I wanted to end off on one note, folks, here, and it's a final thought, but before I do, we have a couple of breaking news items. In the city of Chicago, where our listeners are, about 2,000 staff members, including 1,000 teachers, have been laid off by the city of Chicago. It's part of a longer battle that's going on between the teachers union there in a fight that some are calling center stage ground zero for public education in this country. And of course, the city of Detroit this week declared bankruptcy with debts of more than $18 billion. We're going to close out the show with some music that reminds us of that. But my final thought is this. Back some 40 years ago, when the Rolling Stones wrote the song Sympathy for the Devil, there's a lyric in that song that said, "Who killed the Kennedys? Don't you know it was you and me?" And I think those lyrics spoke about a decade of violence in this country, of domestic violence, of war and of resistance against that war that meant many Americans killed, whether it was the Civil Rights Revolution or the anti-war protests. And I think in some ways those lyrics stand as a reminder today. Who killed Trayvon Martin? Don't you know it was you and me? It wasn't just George Zimmerman. Because whether it was the jury, whether it was the motivation that George Zimmerman had in pursuing that person, whether it's the inequality in this country and the racial tension that creates the kind of distrust that would produce George Zimmerman or the police officers that would not arrest him, it was all our fault. It's America's burden to bear, and it's a healing process that we need to take on together as a nation. This is Daniel Marins on behalf of David Shuster and the entire Take Action News team. Pete, Johnny Depp Callahan, who's done an amazing job on the board today. Thank you all so much, and we will see you once again next week.